Welcome back to LimQ Plus, everyone. On this channel, I'm 100%ing Breath of the Wild by a bit each day until Tears of the Kingdom comes out, which is today in 75 days. Kind of funny, because I'm likely going to be hitting 75% on the completion today. And I want to talk about something today that most people will think, why? This is like way too early to talk about, and I agree. I will admit, it's recently been harder to pick topics to talk about on this channel. We do have still 75 days to go, and I will obviously also have to focus quite a bit on the Korok seeds that I'm actually going to be getting. But I talked in previous videos about the fact how the leaks have kind of made it awkward. It's difficult to pick a topic where my basically my not decision making, but my thinking has obviously been influenced by the leaks being a thing. So it's a bit awkward, but what I want to talk about is actually not Tears of the Kingdom, and it's also not Breath of the Wild. It's what happens after Tears of the Kingdom. Some people in my streamers have jokingly said, what happens after Tears of the Kingdom comes out with this channel? I explained it in the past. I'm still going to be using this channel for multiple things, such as short tutorials and update videos about new strategies, etc. But some people have jokingly said, oh, why don't you... oh, great shot. Why don't you use this channel to count down to the next Zelda game afterwards? And it was like, I mean, obviously not. I'm pretty sure the next Zelda game is going to be out for the next Nintendo console. And not only that, it's probably going to be like 6 years in the making, if not more. I'm pretty sure the wait between, as far as I remember, the wait between Tears of the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom has actually officially been... My favorite Korok seed. Has actually officially been the longest wait between two 3D Zelda games, if I remember correctly. Obviously, the pandemic definitely played a... Link, can you please just, like, not die for a second? I would really appreciate it. Maybe I hold the ZL button here to... I was gonna say make sure that I get Revali's scale up, and I'm pretty sure I just heard Revali say he's ready. I guess the ZL jump didn't really cooperate with that. Yeah, between Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom apparently is the longest waiting time between two 3D Zelda titles. And obviously the pandemic was there, but let's just say we at least have to wait 5 years between Tears of the Kingdom and the next 3D Zelda game. If... Oh, please work. Yeah. If there is no trilogy. And that's what I want to discuss today is what happens after Tears of the Kingdom. Where does the Zelda series even go? A lot of you guys in the comments, and when I say a lot, I think I've seen the comment like 3 times, have said, oh yeah, this is all leading up to be a trilogy. Breath of the Wild is going to be a game about courage. This next game is about power, and the last one will be about wisdom. Which, in general, I think is a cool idea. Centering a game very heavily on wisdom and like going all in on like puzzle mechanics is something that I personally would enjoy. I said it in the past. Not sure how likely that is. I think there is some strong points for the game turning into a trilogy, but mainly because I think Breath of the Wild just nails it so well. I think it's gonna be incredibly hard for them to top... Oh wow, I was actually still invincible there? I'm getting tagged so much. I guess I'm realizing how much once you've beaten the Yiga hideout casually, you actually get attacked by these guys. They're like everywhere. In speedruns, since you don't really touch the ground a lot, right? Because you're constantly flying around, you don't really notice, but I'm realizing again casually, you get destroyed. There's like so many of them. All the time. But yeah, I think they absolutely nailed the design of Link in Breath of the Wild, which is why I always said I want him to basically return this way in the next game that they're making, and they did that. I was very happy when I first saw reveals of Tears of the Kingdom, aka the sequel of Breath of the Wild back then. I really like that. And then Zelda's redesign, in my opinion, was even better. It's going to be hard for them, in my opinion, to top that. Again... I think it's almost confirmed with the waiting time that the next game will be on the next Nintendo console. In my mind, there's no way that they will be making another like Tears of the Kingdom style game for the Switch, which would mean the Switch would be still around in 5 years. I hope not, because the hardware limitations are definitely apparent. This, by the way, is a super tricky like Korok, super baity Korok. Like you could put the orb on the left side here, right? And it's it seems like it would be the same, just that this is further stuck into the ground. But no. You do have to put it on this part. Also, I just realized... Wait. Oh no. I just realized the Zonai Spiral is on these Korok cubes? Or is this just random? I don't know if anybody has talked about this. But here. That's Spiral. That's the Zonai Spiral, right? Very interesting. Never actually noticed this. Let me know if you knew this. Very weird. Not sure how the Zonai are involved with those guys. But, yeah, I think, again, the sequel... I don't think the next game is going to be on Switch. I think it's going to be on a new console. It just makes sense. They can maybe make the game even look even prettier, actually have it run in 30 FPS 60 FPS consistently. 30 FPS would be a good start. Thinking about Korok Forest and Kakariko and stuff. And that is what makes me believe it's not going to be a trilogy. But at the same time, I think it's going to be incredibly hard for them to beat the design for Link. Like, this is how people know Link now. Breath of the Wild was just so popular that this is what people think of when they think of Link. So that's going to be hard. I mean, obviously they could still use the same design, but use it in like a different world, which I guess is what they're kind of doing in Tears of the Kingdom. And then same with Zelda. This iteration of Zelda is so incredibly popular. There is some other earlier versions, especially the ones that they used in Smash Brothers, and a lot of people seem to love Twilight Princess Zelda. Not necessarily me. But yeah. Also, let me quickly check. Okay, from here... From the block puzzle, I'm supposed to do the race. That's right. I actually think I have already obtained those 2 Koroks down here, so we're going to be stopping by 2 Koroks that I already have. Now, my other point that I'm really curious about, and I'm curious about your ideas, is where would a different Zelda game even go? I think Breath of the Wild, while it's kind of like a hybrid, already made this like mixture between old and futuristic with the guardians, lasers, divine beasts, ancient weapons, etc. So one thought that I had is obviously, yeah, an even more futuristic Zelda game, like in space or something. Like, I really don't think they could pull that off. At the end of the day, this is like a fantasy medieval series, but maybe. I think Breath of the Wild has already kind of done that though, and then Tears of the Kingdom and Skyward Sword have like the ancient, they went like the ancient part of like the very old, very back in the past. Wind Waker kind of went with the pirate approach, which is another common thematic that I think works well for this game. But I was thinking, like, what's even left? Where do you even go with the Zelda series from now? I guess you could do some sort of reimagination of Wind Waker, where you're back on the sea, but this time it's... dude, I cannot believe how commonly I get attacked by these today. Is that normal? Am I just getting unlucky, or is that actually how the game is casually? I haven't played casually in too long to realize that the Yiga are just relentless. I know the area in which I'm at right now is commonly... is a common area for these to appear. I know that from speedruns. This is like a dream thing for me. I know this is not gonna happen. Have I gotten both of these Korok seeds? I have. Right, because I would do the lily pads, the block puzzle, and then the shrine. Then I would do the balloon quest, and then go over here towards castle. So that's where we headed next. One kind of like dream aesthetic for the game that I really don't think is gonna happen is the Victorian Bloodborne aesthetic. I'm actually very surprised. Some games recently have tried this more. I think there's like a Pinocchio game coming out that is trying to go that route. The Victorian, like, I guess like a steampunk world for the Zelda series could be cool. Oh, underwater, I think, is something that has not really been explored. As far as I know, like, yes, there's underwater sections in Skyward Sword and Zora's Domain, but having like an entire game centered around an underwater Hyrule, maybe like a sunken Hyrule, kind of like that idea now that I brainstorm it. Also, we did reach 75%, so that's cool. Bioshock is one of the games that comes to mind that went for that steampunk underwater aesthetic, and then I guess Bioshock Infinite has like flying islands, but a little bit more industrial, kind of like Tears of the Kingdom, but like much more modern. And then I was thinking, yeah, there's not much left, in my opinion, where a fantasy game like this really works. Like, yes, the space thing, I can't really see Link starting, I can't really see Link suddenly wielding like lightsabers, even though the Guardian weapons were close enough to those. Don't really see that happening, if I'm being honest with you. But maybe some of you wish for that to happen. I guess there's like a cowboy aesthetic, which I'm thinking of the Twilight Princess level, the shooting range thing. That's kind of in like a western area, but I doubt that's gonna be happening. I will actually make some speed food here in these recordings soon, because I am actually running around quite a bit. In the 100% speedrun, you constantly use speed food. And then again, the other option is still the sequel, making Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and whatever game a trilogy, because the setting does still work, but then I also don't know what to even still do. Like, we're going underground now and to the sky, so where would you even go next? I'm just really curious, especially. I wanted to kind of tell you my thoughts on this today, and I'm really curious what people think. What do they still want from the Zelda series? Where can it even still go afterwards? I know we are all busy being excited for Tears of the Kingdom, so this is why I said the topic is a little bit out of place. It's a bit early to even think about this. But at the same time, I've already mentioned, it's been a little bit harder to talk about Tears of the Kingdom specifically, just because I don't want to talk about topics that are part of the leaked art book. But yeah, I'm probably gonna end it here. Gonna get this Korok seed. No. Get rid of this guy. Worst enemy in the game. Gonna get this Korok seed here. If I remember correctly, the right part to put it in is this one. And I do remember correctly. Oh, actually, I might as well go to the next shrine, because that is what I would be doing next. And then continue from that shrine tomorrow. We have reached 75%. There is only 75 days left until Tears of the Kingdom, so I have to get like 0.3% a day. I think we should be good to go in order to make that. I am actually already afraid, I will say, of the Hebra section. I don't know if any of you have watched the 100% speedrun, or, I mean, I'm sure some of you have actually gotten all of the Korok seeds. The Hebra section can be a nightmare, with it being so incredibly foggy at times that you can barely even see where you're going. So it's gonna be hard to play through that route and then also talk about topics as I go. I might have to cut down on the talking a little bit when I reach that section of the playthrough. But that's not for a bit. We're gonna be mostly going through Hyrule Field here. Gonna be revisiting Castle in these next episodes, and then go from there. But I do want to quickly end the episode here on the Namechaos Shrine. Should discover another location here. 75.35, guys. Thank you for hanging out. Let me know where you want the Zelda series to go. I just realized I have the Champion's Tunic on, so there's all of these damage numbers here. 1 out of 1. And if you think Breath of the Wild is going to turn into a trilogy. But thank you for hanging out again. Thank you for watching. I will see you tomorrow for 74 days until Tears of the Kingdom. Peace.